Psalm 37, verses 23 and 24. When you arrive there, you shall find these words recorded. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I want to talk a few preaching moments from the thought, the blessing of being a good man. The blessing of being a good man. Psalm 37 has been ascribed and given the authorship that is penned by David. And the fact that it comes at this period, it comes from the experience and the veteranism of an old man. Well, one may say, preacher, how do you know it comes from an old man? Because when you look in the same chapter in verse 25, he said, I once was young, but now I am old. And so we get this wisdom and we get this knowledge from an old man. But there is perhaps some conflict or some contradiction based upon what David has just said in verse 23. For he says the steps of a good man. Well, here comes Jesus. In Matthew 19 and 17 and Mark 10 and 38, he said there is none good but one, and that one is God. So David, we have a conflict, or perhaps seemingly a contradiction when you use the word good. He says, preacher, I need to give you understanding. He says, I'm not talking about El, which means Almighty or God. I'm talking about Mod, M-O-D, which means utterly becoming good. So he said, I'm not saying that he's perfectly good. In other words, because of his steps, he will utterly become good. And so if it is a blessing to be a good man, then I think we need to check out some things that David is saying in these couple of verses. First of all, when I look at verse 23, the steps of a good man, the first thing I see is the path of a good man is ordered by the Lord. Now you got to be careful, because the Bible indicates that a man's ways seem right in his own eyes, but sometimes self-inflicting blindness will not let you see the path clearly. And so here we must understand that in Proverbs 16 and 9, it is the Lord who directs his steps. And you know, my brothers and sisters, I don't know about you, but I done seen pigeon-toed, slew-footed, not neat, bow-legged, and they all don't walk the same walk. But one thing about it, if their steps are sure in the Lord, and the Lord is directing their steps, they're going to end up in a good path. So we see right here in the text, David said, this is not the only place where my steps are ordered by the Lord. If you look at Psalm 23, 2 and 3, he leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. In other words, I have to let the Lord spiritually lead me and guide me, because David says, my steps are ordered, which means I have a surrendered and submissive will. And rather than walk on my own, I allow the Lord to lead me, to guide me, and to direct my path. You do know paths get dark. He says, I still need the Lord to order my steps even in the dark. So what does the Lord give me, preacher? But what the Lord give you, my brothers and sisters, is Psalm 119, 105. You need the word. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my pathway. Do you know on life's journey you need Jesus to see? You need the light of his word to know where you are going. No, I have a problem with folk who get lost and get more lost. I got it. No, you don't have it because we get more lost. Some folk in life act like that. I got it. I know what I'm doing. And eventually end up lost. So that means that a good man has to be led by the Spirit of God. There's a Hebrew word called kum, which means to be set up, to be fixed, to be prepared, to be established. And if that be the case with our steps, then notice something Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 said. If I'm going to surrender to the Lord and submit to him leading my path and guiding me, then I must trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to my own understanding, but in all my ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct my path. There is no such thing, Sister Linda, as two people get in the car and they both grabbing the steering wheel sitting in the same seat. You all ever seen anybody drive like that? Two people sitting on the same seat, both of them grabbing the steering wheel trying to drive. Well, we do God like that. God got the steering wheel, but we want to jump in the same seat and try to drive the car when the Lord is in charge. God don't never need to be the co-pilot or nothing because somebody's going to be in trouble. God don't need you to be a co-pilot. He just needs you to cooperate. So, that's the first thing I see in verse 23. We see the path of a good man is ordered by the Lord. But then secondly, the second thing I see, the plan of a good man is ordained by the Lord. The plan of a good man is ordained by the Lord. Notice Jeremiah 29 and 11. I know the thoughts of the plans I have toward or concerning thee, to bless thee with peace and good and not evil, and to give you an expected end, which other words would be God got a plan. And I found out where they got that song from. Psalm 119 and 133. Order my steps in your word. Dear Lord, that ain't just a song, it's recorded. It's the word of God. God has a plan. He knows where he wants you to go. So notice in the text, if my steps are going to be ordered by the Lord, then that simply says I got to allow him. Job says in Job 14 and 16, he said, you know, my steps are numbered. God knows just how many steps I'm going to take and make in my life. So therefore, I got to let God bless me in the steps so my steps will be sure, accurate, and correct. Notice, I listened to a Greek use a word, herusio, which means to appoint, decree, or specify. Stop letting people be the tour guide of your life. Take you on trips in your life they don't pay for. You pay the price, they gone. Don't let people be tour guides in your life to make you go on trips they don't pay for. David said, my steps are ordered by the Lord. So I must understand that according to Ephesians 2 and 10, I am his workmanship in Christ Jesus, created unto good works, that I'm supposed to walk in them. I don't understand. You always take the advice of people who tell you what they think you ought to be. And it amazes me how some folk try to relive their life through other people. They want you to be something they couldn't get to be. And then when you get to be it, now they're jealous of you. David says, I listen to nobody but the Lord. My steps are sure in the Lord, and the Lord has a path for me to travel. He has a plan already laid out. You better not ever let the devil make plans for your life. Because the fine writing and the small clause is a John 10 and 10. And the fine writing is as he represents the thief. Coming not but to steal, to kill, and destroy. You got to watch the devil's fine clause writing when he tries to direct path. Sometimes we try to chart our own course, and when we get there, it's not the place we really wanted to be. David said, well, since the Lord is planned for my life and he ordained it, then it don't matter where I try to go. If the Lord ordained it, I might have to go the long way around. It may take me a while, but eventually I'm going to end up where I'm supposed to be. There are no shortcuts in the will of God. No shortcuts. Third thing I see, and I'm almost there. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. He delighteth in his way. He delighteth in his way. The third thing I see, we see the pleasure toward a good man is observed from God. The Lord is happy when you're following the way he wants you to go. Parents, how many of us do not delight when our children choose a wrong path? There is no delight in wrong path choices. And if we feel that way about our natural children, how do you think your father feel when you don't listen to him, rebel and reject him, and you choose the wrong path to travel? A good man knows all I want to do, in Proverbs 16 and 7, all I want to do is please the Lord. I just want to please. And listen, you know when you please the Lord, it upset folk. Don't ever go to the church and think your pleasing the Lord pleases everybody. So you got to get that I don't care spirit. Because I heard Jasper Williams say years ago, when you please God, it don't matter who you displease. And when you displease God, it don't matter who you try to please. So if they get mad because you pleasing God, turn them over to the Lord, let the Lord deal with them. Just keep pleasing the Lord. The Lord knows the pleasure of them that fear him. So notice what a good man does. Psalm 37:4 says, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. You see, for you to delight in the Lord and the Lord to delight in you, you got to delight in the things he delights. Don't ask me to say that no more. In other words, you have to love what he loves. You have to enjoy what he enjoys for him to delight in what you delight in. And whatever he delight in, you do also. Ain't no more good than me. Well, baby, if they ain't in Jesus, I can understand your comment. Sure. According to David, this old man, and it's amazing. I've always had a fascination sitting around, seasoned people. I ain't gonna get in trouble waiting out here, love. I enjoy sitting around seasoned people. Not to eavesdrop or get business, but to get the wisdom from the old. And I don't call old folk because I had a senior sister to straighten me out. She said, baby, let me tell you something. Old is offensive. I can like it better if you call me antique. At least I'm worth some value. But when you use the word old, it means I'm outdated. That's no good to use, but if you say I'm antique, I can handle that. So how you antique folk doing? Oh, yeah. I won't get in trouble. Listen. We have to know and understand, and I'm there. Lest I hold you too long, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. He delighteth in his way. But watch verse 24. This is the grace. This is the best part. This is the pretty part, y'all. Though he fall, it does not mean, my brothers and sisters, that when he fall, he wallows. Though he fall, in other words, the Lord is giving a hint. There will come a time that he will fall. But the fact of it is, it's all right if he fall, long as he fall in my hand. I don't think y'all got it. If you fall in the hands of a man, you might end up staying down. He might hold you down, press you down, keep you down. But if you fall in the hands of the Lord, the Bible said that he will raise you up. I don't mind falling, brother, in a strong hand, powerful hand, because he will give me power to get back up. Now notice this in verse 24. We see the protection for a good man. Watch this now. It's offered by the Lord. He said, though he fall, he shall not utterly be cast down. I will uphold him with my hand. You know, I understand all states. Sister, they may be the good hand people, but they're not the good hand holding people. You in the good hands, but can your hands hold it? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm glad I'm in his hand, because you see, there's the possibility that even as being a good man, some things may come against you. But since you have the protection as a good man that is offered by the Lord, notice what he says when Satan come with his mess and come with all the stuff there. He said, listen, in Isaiah 54:17, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. Listen, the Bible did not say they would not form the weapon. He just said they would not even try to use them. He just said they won't work against you. So don't be intimidated by weapon making folk. If you say the Lord got your back, you ain't got to watch you. That's why, Sister Linda Harris, according to Ephesians 6, all the armor is made for the front, to confront. All the armor is made for the front, to confront. Which means the devil can't never harm me if I got my back against the wall. See, the worst thing you can do with an animal who's instinctively ravaged and raved and fierce, he don't really let all the stops come out till he's backed in the corner. When he backed in the corner, it's fighting time. And that's what you ought to tell the devil when he backed you in the corner. So, okay, devil, it's fighting time. I don't know if you ever watched the Fantastic Four, but there's a rock fella named Ben. And one of his favorite phrases is clobbering time. Y'all ain't never heard that. But I want to tell you, when the devil shows up, hey, devil, it's clobbering time. And you need to know, my brothers and sisters, that a lot of times in Proverbs 44:16, look at this, a just man can fall 7 times, but he will get back up again. Listen. If we're going to fall, Before I get ready to get out of here, Pastor Hicks, I checked with Jude the other day. And Jude says, when you go to 24, when you fall, look up to him. Why, Jude? Because now unto him is able to keep us from falling. God is so good at falling is that he'll keep you while you're falling. He'll catch you when you fall. And he'll hold you if you fall. He'll catch you. So, my brothers and sisters, it's time for me to go now. But in brief, I hope you can understand that there is a blessing in being a good man. Well, let me tell you that I remember that I had an English teacher. I was so caught up with her. I was so fantasizable because she was a beautiful woman. But one thing I can remember is that she was my English teacher. And you know, Pastor Hicks, what I discovered was she left some marks on my life. And I found English in the Bible. And one thing about English is that you have what they call some punctuation marks. And so when I look at a good man, I apply some English with some punctuation marks. What are you saying, Hicks? When I look at good men, I see a comma and a question mark. What do you mean, brother preacher? Well, let me tell you, when I look at Noah, I see a comma. And because Noah was to be a good man, he got drunk and he's questionable. He's a comma and a question mark. I see Abraham. He's a good man with a comma. But you know, Pastor Hicks, he committed adultery and he told a lie. He's questionable. And so I see a man by the name of Moses. Moses, he has a comma, which means the pause. And when I look at Moses, he was quick-tempered and he was a murderer. So as a good man, he's questionable. Now, he's David. He's a man after God's own heart. He's got a comma, but he's questionable. What do you mean, preacher? David is an organized crime boss. What do you mean? He put a hit out on a man, got his wife pregnant, and had the husband killed. He's questionable. And you know, my brother and sister, as I get ready to close, I've given you some men that got some commas and they got some question marks. But when I look at Jesus, he's a period and an exclamation mark. Did y'all hear me? Let me tell you about Jesus. He's the Son of God. That's a period. A miracle worker. That's a period. And a period means it is the end of a complete thought. He played it all. But wait a minute. My brother and my sister, he went to Calvary. That's a period. did. They hung him on Calvary's cross. That's a period. That's a period. Anybody know who died? He died till the sun refused to shine. He died till the whole world was level up. He died till a centurion became a testifying saint and said, this man was the Son of God. They bargained him. That's a period. But wait a minute. You brought up an exclamation mark. Let me move from the period to the exclamation mark. On a Friday morning, he got up. Anybody know when he got up? That's the exclamation mark. He got up. But wait a minute. Let me put it in park and leave the motor running. I heard you say that he hung on Calvary. You put a period there. I heard you say that they crucified him and he died. That's a period there. They put him in a tomb. That's a period there. But wait a minute, preacher. You said that there's an exclamation mark. He got up. But my question is, when did he get up? You got an exclamation mark there. When did he get up? But if you don't mind, an exclamation shows excitement. That's what I'm finna do now. I'm finna show you my exclamation mark. You ask me, when did he get up? He got up. Hicks, that ain't the one I want. He got up. Hicks, that ain't the one I want. He got up. Here come exclamation mark. Anybody know anybody here that knows that good man? Anybody know the good man that I'm talking about? When he pays some bills, when he drops some tears, when he lifts some bottle, when he opens some door, when he make a ring out of no way, when he put you anybody here that know you right? That good man that I'm talking about. Nobody but you. Oh, you know he's all right. I know he's all right.